All right, so I'm gonna do the first three problems. So just like last time, the first three problems are different. They cover each type. Now, before I go into what we're doing, look at this right here. You remember from last time, what do we call that? What's the name? The name of that function. Three different names we talked about last time. Linear. Linear. We'll watch it up there. Linear. Okay. So we have linear, quadratic, and absolute value. We're going to see all three today, just like we saw all three last time. All right. Now, last time I plugged one number in, I got one number out. We're going to do that, but we're going to do that multiple times for each one. Okay. So you see right here, it says domain. Domain are my x values. These are my x's. These are the numbers I'm going to plug into my function. And I'm going to get numbers out. The numbers that I get out are going to be my y values. Y equals, or we can call them the range. Talk more about domain and range later on in the chapter. So I'm just going to go in order. The very first number I see is -6. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to come over to my calculator, turn it on, and remember I'm just plugging in for x. So I see a 2, and then it's 2x. So instead of putting x, I'm going to use parentheses. And the number I'm trying to plug in is -6. Make sure you use the negative at the bottom. Close parentheses. And then I get +6. So you see how this on my calculator screen looks just like my function. All I did was just plug my x value in. I'm going to hit enter. And what do I get out? -6. So I plug -6 in, and I get -6 out. What that is a coordinate point. Right here. I put -6 in. Okay. I got -6 out. And I'm going to graph it on my graph. The first value is my x, so I come over here left to -6. The second value is my y. I'm going to go down to -6. And I'm going to put a dot right there. Okay. So I wrote my coordinate point out to the right there. Put my dot right there. Now, my calculator knows how to copy and paste. Everybody know what copy and paste is on the computer? This is how I copy and paste on my calculator. I'm going to hit the up arrow. And when I hit the up arrow, see it's highlighting stuff. I'm going to highlight what I typed in. And when I highlight it, I'm going to hit enter. And you see it copied it and pasted it below. Okay? I do that because I don't want to have to retype in that entire thing over and over again because it goes into the second function. Now, all I got to do is move my cursor over and say, well, I'm not using -6. What number am I using instead? -5. So I don't have to retype everything. All I got to do is change that -6 to a -5. Okay? And hit enter. Come over here, flip color. So I plugged in -5. What did I get out? -4. -4. So on my graph, here's -5. 1, 2, 3. There's -4 right there. Next number I get to is -4. Up arrow 2 times. Highlight it. Hit enter. And then I'm just going to move my cursor over here and change that -5 to a -4. Color. So I'll plug -4 in. Yeah, it's going down my list. -4 in, and I got out -2. 4, -2, right there. Two more coordinate points. See if you can beat me to those two. See if you can get those last two coordinate points on your graph before I do this.
Can you do?
You see how we did? Up arrow. I hit enter. So copy, some paste it. The next number on my list. Oh, we're skipping. See, it's -6, -5, -4. And now we're skipping that to -2. I'll put a 2 there. Hit enter. And I see, all right, I'm now at +2. So -2, comma, +2. Which is right there. Calculator, up arrow twice. Change that -2 to a -1. Hit enter, and I get 4. All right, so on my paper, I should have my 5 dots on my graph. I have the name linear, and I have my coordinate points written down. Okay. Questions on what you should have on your paper for number 1. All right. Am I good to erase? Erase. Before I do anything with it, I'm going to name it. What is the name of number 2?
Absolute value.
Absolute value. Now, I'm going to go ahead and put out my coordinate points. What's the first number I'm going to use? -4. So I'm going to write -4. I'm going to do that with purple. I'm going to come over here, pink. That's going to be -3. We're going to put 2 in. 1, 0 in. And we'll finish off with +2. All right. Now, the first thing I need to hit on my calculator is the 3. There's a 3 out in front. Where's my cursor? Okay, good. Click the number 3. Now, I know I have a lot of stuff up top. If you want to hit clear because you don't like seeing that stuff on your screen, you can hit clear. It's not going to change anything. I don't have to clear it off. So I got 3. I need my absolute value. How do I get absolute value? Yeah, math button. Right arrow. And then the very first thing on the list should say abs for absolute value. Hit enter and it puts the little absolute value lines there. And so I'm going to type in my number. Well, the first number I'm going to do is -4. -4 plus 2. Okay. Well, then on my equation up there, I still have a -6, but that -6 is outside. So I'm going to come outside and hit -6. Okay. I hit enter and I get 0. So I put in -4. I got out 0. Up here at -4, right to 0. Well, my point, -4, 0 would be right there. Hit the up arrow twice, highlight what I typed in, hit enter, copy and paste it. I'm going to change that -4 to a -3. Everything else stays the same. Hit enter, and there we go. I plugged -3 in and got -3 out. So -3, 1, 2, there it is right there. Up arrow, copy and paste. Change my -3 to a -2. And I get out -6. Now, at this point, it looks like I'm about to run off my graph. If this is linear, I would, but this is not a linear function. This is absolute value, and absolute value has a V shape. So let's see what happens when I plug in 0. I'm going to go up arrow. Now, if I'm plugging in 0, I don't want a -0. So I'm just going to go over here, highlight the 0, and we're going to hit the delete button right there. And so now I can hit enter and I get 0 out. So I put 0 in, I got 0 out. That would include 0, 0 is right there where my lines meet. We call it the origin. One last point. That's my blue 2 down there. Up arrow, hit enter. Put 2 in. And I get 6 out. Question so far. So we go the first 3 together. So we did linear, we did absolute value. What's the next one we need to do? Quadratic. So number 3 is quadratic. The last one we do together. What's weird about quadratic?
Again, that's square root.
Yeah, it's got the exponent of 2. But also it has 2 x's, right? You see that? It's got 2 x's instead of just 1. So that means I got to plug my number in twice. All right, so let's take a little look at numbers 3. Rid of all those. Well, we're doing number 3. Write out the points again. Start with negative 4. 3. 1. 0. Finished with. Typing this one in is tricky. Let's look at the beginning carefully. So again, this is what I'm typing in. I'm going to type in a negative sign. That's at the bottom down here. And then when I see my X, I'm going to do parentheses. Really important. And notice I left the parentheses off on the absolute value. I got a little lazy because I knew I didn't need them. But here they are going to be really important. So make sure you do parentheses where I see my X. What number am I plugging in for X first?
-4.
-4. So again, at the bottom, -4. Close parentheses. But what am I plugging in for X? Got to be in parentheses. And that makes a massive difference if it's negative. Okay, if I leave the parentheses off, I will get the wrong answer. I need an exponent of 2. You get an exponent of 2, it's that button right there, x squared. Here's everything is right beside the 7, if I remember. Right. Now I see another minus sign, but this one's actually a subtraction. So I'm going to use subtraction sign 2, and then I get another x. So another parentheses. We're still putting the same number in, so -4 again. Close parentheses, and then I finish it off with the +5. So I typed out my equation, my function, but I put -4 wherever the x were. Let me hit enter. What I get it out is -3. I'm going to go in, say -4, comma, -3. Right there. Now, this example of why copying and pasting is really helpful, because that was a lot to type in. And I don't want to have to type all that in every single time. So up arrow twice, hit enter, and now all I have to do is change those 4s to my next number, which in pink there is the number -3. Change those -4s to a -3. I hit enter and I get +2 out. Right there. Up arrow, hit enter. Change those -3s now. I see an orange, next one -1. I get 6 out. -1, 6 right there. All right, my next number is zeros. So up arrow twice, copy and paste. Change that to a 0, and I'm going to go ahead and get rid of the negative. The delete button. 0. and delete the name. When I plug 0 in, 5 out. There. And we have one left to do, and that is the number 1. Oh, change those zeros to the number 1. Oh, messed up. I left a 0 in there. Okay. There we go. Leave the number 2. 5 points, 5 coordinates. Oh, one thing I forgot to do was naming. What is the name of number 3? Should be said it, I didn't write it down. So this. Like, right, yeah.